Krav Maga is a comprehensive system of self-defense, third-party protection and fighting skills forged in the field, under real-life conditions, both in the battlefield and on the streets. Emerging out of the needs of a persecuted, resource-strapped minority defending itself against those bent on its destruction, Krav Maga was developed through extensive experience in the war for survival and in face-to-face confrontations. Today, Krav Maga is an integrated system incorporating clear logic, highly effective and systematic techniques, concepts and principles of action, as well as unique, advanced training methodologies. Throughout its development, the concepts laid down by Krav Maga's founder have remained constant: simplicity and efficiency, upholding the highest moral values and respect for all mankind. Grandmaster Imi Stay-Or, founder of Krav Maga, was born Imrich Lichtenfeld in Budapest, Hungary in May of 1910. He grew up in Bratislava, Slovakia, where his father, Samuel, was head of the city police department's detective unit. As part of his role, Samuel was charged with training his subordinates in defensive tactics. Under his father's influence, Imi started training at an early age and quickly emerged as an exceptionally talented athlete. As a teenager, he trained in gymnastics, wrestling and boxing. By the age of 19, he was already recognized as an international champion in these fields. Later, he focused on wrestling and competed as a member of Slovakia's national team for a decade. In 1936, fascism begins to spread throughout Europe, bringing with it a wave of violence against minorities. Entire Jewish communities find themselves defenseless, under constant attack instigated by the authorities. Imi, a young, proud Jewish athlete, is not prepared to put up with the humiliation and helplessness of the victims. Together with other young men, he organizes a group dedicated to the active defense of those targeted for attack. Under his leadership, the brave defenders successfully fight back, driving off the assailants using only their bare hands. It is under these circumstances that the seeds for an effective combat and self-defense system are planted. A system nurtured and developed by Imi a few years later into what would become known as Krav Maga. The year is 1940 and World War II is raging throughout Europe. Imi leaves Bratislava just moments before it is taken over by the Nazis, and he boards an underground immigrants boat to Palestine. After a long journey, during which he joins the Czech Legion of the British Army, Imi arrives in Palestine, which at that time was under the control of the British Mandate. He quickly becomes involved in the training and instruction of Jewish defense organizations, fighting against the Arab insurgency. With the establishment of the State of Israel, Imi naturally integrates into the newly established Israel Defense Forces. Due to his extensive experience and formidable abilities, he is nominated as the Army's chief physical fitness and hand-to-hand combat instructor. It is in this role that he begins to develop Krav Maga and to train soldiers, officers, and instructors. In 1964, after 20 years of service, Imi is honorably discharged from the military. He decides to organize his vast knowledge and practical experience into a system suitable for civilian application as well. As part of this initiative, Imi opens 2 self-defense studios, training many students and instructors, all the while adapting and improving the Krav Maga system for civilian self-defense as well as for the needs of elite military and police units. In 1974, at the age of 15, Eyal Yanilov begins to practice Krav Maga. Early on, he shows extraordinary talent, both as a practitioner of the system and as an instructor. He is quickly recruited by Grandmaster Imi to train other instructors, and he later takes Imi's place teaching higher level classes. In the early 1980s, Eyal becomes Imi's foremost instructor and his closest disciple, as well as his most trusted assistant and advisor. After completing his studies in electrical engineering, Eyal starts training Israeli counter-terrorist units. Along with Imi, he writes a series of books laying out the principles of Krav Maga. Considering Eyal's substantial knowledge and experience, Imi decides to appoint him as head of the professional committee of the Israeli Krav Maga Association. In this position, Eyal creates and upgrades the curriculum, formalizing Krav Maga as a coherent system built around principles of action and unique instructional and training methods. In the mid-1980s, Eyal travels abroad, introducing Krav Maga to people in countries around the globe, first in the United States and then in Europe. He teaches the system to elite military and law enforcement units as well as to civilians. In order to manage the challenge of spreading Krav Maga beyond Israel's borders, Eyal founds the International Krav Maga Federation and serves as its chairman and head instructor under the tutelage and support of Grandmaster Imi. Imi regarded Eyal as family and as the natural choice for leadership of the Krav Maga system. For this purpose, Imi awarded him with the Founder's Diploma of Excellence and the first ever rank of Expert 8, the highest rank awarded to a Krav Maga practitioner. Imi Steor Lichtenfeld passed away in 1998 at the age of 88. To the day he died, Grandmaster Imi served as mentor and spiritual guide for Eyal Yanilov, and together they enhanced and developed Krav Maga. Since Imi's death, Eyal has taken upon himself the responsibility of leading and developing Krav Maga and taking it to the next level. He trains instructors and staff all over the world and has created a global infrastructure for disseminating the system. In practice, Eyal has trained all of the world's first-generation Krav Maga instructors. At present, a team of elite instructors, the global team, is assisting him in spreading the knowledge and the system of Krav Maga to numerous countries around the world. In addition to the many civilians training in Krav Maga centers, military and police special forces from around the world have also adopted Krav Maga as taught by Eyal and his team as their preferred hand-to-hand combat and tactical defense system. Over the years, the global network of Krav Maga branches has increased substantially, along with the numbers of practitioners and instructors. Different offshoots developed, all training under the umbrella name of Krav Maga. The International Krav Maga Federation, which was founded as a sports association, could barely meet the various changing needs of the times, and it became impossible neither to develop Krav Maga within the IKMF, nor to preserve the moral and professional spirit outlined by Imi. Therefore, Eyal decided, along with others, to harness his vast experience in Krav Maga, close to 40 years in the field, and founded Krav Maga Global, the KMG. KMG is the vehicle for Eyal and his team to disseminate and promote Krav Maga in an ethical, unique and uncompromising manner. Activities in various countries and close contact with those in the field enable tactical and technical growth and development suitable for each location and particular set of circumstances. Today, years after the passing of Grandmaster Imi, Krav Maga Global carefully supervises the professionalism of its instructors and the quality of instruction at all levels. Insistence on the highest moral and professional standards preserves the spirit and original path of Krav Maga's founder.
You know that training Krav Maga, being a Krav Maga practitioner, an expert, a master, is way beyond just punching, kicking, self-defense, fighting. Spending many years with Imi, through the initiation that I went through, it was very clear for me, through seeing him, the way he treated the family, the way he treated the friends, the way he was behaving in the general surrounding, that this is way beyond aggression and fighting. While training and dealing with Krav Maga, you are definitely gaining different types of qualities. The obvious ones are, of course, the persistence, the ability to switch on and off with the aggression, the self-respect, the confidence. That's the first layer. But additional to that, we are gaining much more. Empathy to others, value of other people, understanding the value of them. All we are dealing with all the time is about life and death. From the smallest thing of release from a wrist grab or from a shirt grab, to the more extreme situation of threats or attacks with sharp objects, and threats of a firearm. Everything is about life and death. We should always do the correct thing. We should always have the best of the knowledge. If we do too much, we go to jail. If we do too little, we may get hurt and even die. The knowledge you are getting is very important. However, it's also risky. You must use it correctly. You should use the knowledge to project confidence. Use the knowledge for self-defense. Use the knowledge for preventing problems, de-escalate, avoidance. That's the main thing. That was the message from Imi. Avoid. De-escalate. If you need, use it, but then use it for self-defense purposes. Defending yourself, defending others, defending your dear ones. That's the idea of Krav Maga.
A good ready position, or we also call it outlet stance, in Hebrew, Amidat Motza, will put you in the correct posture to deal with a specific problem. However, it does reveal your intentions and your knowledge. For instance, the boxer, the bobbing and weaving, the body work, the footwork, the shuffle is very relevant and characteristic to such work. The wrestler, the low stance, the hands forward, the karate person, relatively high, sometimes low hands, with a certain type of body movements and leg work. The Chinese styles differ. This can be one of them, of a high stance and most of the weight on the back leg. The passive stance reveals nothing. It's a simulation of a situation and a position of a disadvantage. From this position at the learning stage, we will do most of our techniques. It is balanced and symmetrical. Shift part of your weight towards your balls of the feet. This is the semi-passive stance. The body position is the same, the alignment is the same. However, the palms are in the level of the face, the jaw, and each palm is in front of the inside of the corresponding shoulder. Lower your chin a little bit and lift your shoulders just a little. When your legs are close together, you have bad balance. When you spread your legs apart to the sides, the balance is good and the resistance is good to the sides. However, front and back, you have no good balance. When you make a large step forward, you have good balance forward and backwards and the resistance is well. However, to the sides, you have very poor balance. Here is the general ready stance when the left leg is forward. The balance is divided 60% on the front leg. The forward leg is turned a bit inward for maximum range for attacks and be able to make good techniques and protection on the groin area. The back heel is raised halfway. The hands are in the level of the face. The elbows are in front of the ribs. Moving to different directions while being in the general outlet stance. You should always move first the leg to its direction you intend to move the whole body. Which means, for example, if you want to move forward, first move the forward leg. If you want to move backwards, move first the back leg. And same to the right and to the left. If you open several centimeters, few inches, then you should close exactly the same amount, returning and keeping yourself in the general outlet stance. The shuffle, moving to different directions, back and forth. Principles of attacks. We have a tool such as a hammer. Certain technique can be done with the hammer, this type of punching and hammering. And that one can be done in many variations. The fist is an example for a tool. And with this tool, with this fist, we can do a certain technique, such as the straight punch. And the straight punch can be done in different variations, combinations, different heights, attack with the left, attack with the right, advance, retreat, defend and attack in different combinations with other attacks, and in many other options. Attacks can be straight and circular. We have 5+1 major directions of attacks. 2 horizontal, to the left and to the right, 2 vertical, up and down, and straight in and straight out. The same thing can be done with the legs, meaning we have upwards and downwards kicks, to the left and to the right, inward and outward, and straight forward. Maybe not all the kicks are extremely practical for all situations in the street, but these are the main possibilities. Naturally, we also have all variations, meaning all different angles, all diagonals. 3 striking distances, the long one with kicks. The middle distance is the distance of the punches, the straight punches, the length of the arm. And the short distance for strikes is suitable for elbows, hammers, knees, uppercut, headbutt, and so on. Series of attacks, attacking while covering the distances from the long through the middle to the short distance. From a semi-passive stance, straight punches with the heel of the hand. Start with the hand strike, immediately add the body, raise your fingers, your palm upwards, hit with the heel of the hand, and recoil fast. The body should turn, the heel, the hips, the shoulder should be sent forward. The punch is delivering the power and the energy, the torque, the mass of the body into the target and then recoils fast backwards. A strong and a bit longer strike can be delivered with a clenched fist. Start closing the fist at the second knuckles, continue with the third knuckles, and then the middle of the first section of the thumb should go on the middle of the second section of the point finger. The fist should be closed very strongly without any space inside. In a straight punch, you should hit with the two large knuckles. The dent between the knuckles should be aligned with the center of the forearm. To deliver a straight punch, start with a hand movement, then close the fist and hit while rotating it to about 45 degrees angle. Straight left punch from the outlet stance. Start with a hand movement, add the body, the turning of the body, shifting of the weight, strike and fast recoil. Shift the weight to the front leg. Turn a bit the back leg. This is the range that achieved with the hand motion. Now, when the body shifts weight forward and then the torque brings the punch to the longest range. A straight right punch from the outlet stance can be done with the fist or with the heel of the hand. Start with the hand motion, add the body, shifting the weight forward and the torque. Send the shoulder forward. The back heel should be raised and turned. The side of the foot should be directed towards the target. Push with the back heel, so the wave of power will be delivered through the leg, the hip and the shoulder to the punching hand. Punching targets from the semi-passive stance, punch with the left, punch with the right, and punching combinations. It can be a punch with the heel of the hand or with a clenched fist. Punching also from the passive stance. Respond to the signal of the jumping target. When it jumps, hit it. Punching from the general outlet stance. Left punch, right punch, combinations of two punches, left and right. It would be usually advised to punch first with the front hand. Punching with movements. Elbow strike forward and inward. Start lifting the elbow in an angle, hit horizontally, turn the body in a strong torque, shift the weight to the side in the direction of the attack, turn the leg so the heel will point sideways. The hitting part in this strike is the couple of inches, about 5 centimeters, close to the point of the elbow. Your center of body should pass the target. Horizontal elbow strike sideways. Start with the hand movement, shift the weight, turn the body. Strike with the back side of the elbow, the last couple of inches, about 5 centimeters, closer to the point of the elbow, the lower part of the triceps. Remember to pass the target 20-25 centimeters, about 10 inches. Recoil very fast. The other hand is positioned with the elbow near the ribs and the palm near the face. Horizontal elbow strike backwards. Start with looking, sending the elbow in an arch horizontally backwards. Pass the target. Send the weight in the direction of the strike. Strongly turn the hips and the opposite heel to the attacking hand. You should hit with the area closer to the elbow, the last 2 inches, about 5 centimeters of the triceps, the lower part of the upper arm. This strike is almost identical to the elbow strike sideways. However, the body turns more, about 90 degrees. Training with a partner on the different elbow strikes. Horizontal elbow strike inward, this is forward one. Elbow strike horizontally sideways. Elbow strike horizontally backwards. During the strike, pass strongly the target. Remember to recoil fast, to be ready and able for the next action. Naturally, we should combine different strikes. Here, we are making combinations of the elbow strikes. Vertical hammer forward is part of a series of attacks. In a motion similar to a wave, lift your fist towards your temple, the elbow towards the outside, and strike forward and diagonally downwards to pass and hit strongly the target. Recoil fast, turning the heel and the whole body to enable the shoulder to move forward as much as possible. Series of attacks that include the hammer punch vertically downwards. Raise your fist towards your temple and the elbow a bit towards the outside in a wave motion, strike downwards. Recoil fast. The body turns, strong turn of the hips, the heel towards the outside, sending the shoulder and the elbow of the striking hand above the imaginary target. Elbow strike vertically backwards. Start with looking while sending the hand backwards, striking upwards with a fast recoil. Remember to pass the target. The whole body turns, the heel turns to the outside. This is the opposite heel. Look from the side of the shoulder, bend the upper body and the area of the shoulder blades forward so you are able to strike freely upwards. Hitting targets as response to a verbal or visual command with single strike or with series of attacks. Here we are striking with vertical strikes. Horizontal hammer sideways as an opening punch to a series of attacks sideways. The elbow starts the motion. It travels on a path like an arch. Lift the heel to shift the weight and turn the body. At the moment of contact, the elbow already passed the line of the target. Horizontal hammer strike backwards. Start with looking while striking backwards, turning the whole body, the opposite heel, the hips, the torso, the shoulders, enabling the elbow and the striking hammer to strongly pass the target. Hitting targets as response to a verbal or visual command with single strike or with series of attacks. Here we are using horizontal hammer strikes plus other punches. Delivering a regular knee kick forward. Stop in place and shoot the knee forward and upwards. The foot of the base leg is turned diagonally outward. The heel should be under the center of gravity. To deliver a fast knee kick, push with the calf muscles and lift with the muscles of the thigh and the hip. Grabbing one shoulder or behind the neck of an imaginary opponent, delivering one or a series of knees towards vulnerable areas. Example for different strikes with the knee. An explosive motion with the calf muscles will shoot the knee forward, lifting the leg and the snap of the knee with the thigh and the hip flexor. Training with a partner on single or multiple kicks. Stomping kick downwards. This is the basic kick representing the stomping family. Raise the knee, hit down in a stomping motion with the heel, hit the target, and recoil fast. Recoiling means lifting the knee up. Here is a demo of series of attacks starting with a stomping kick backwards. As you bend forward and look backwards, you deliver a straight kick backwards. It's a stomping kick. Lift the heel towards your buttocks and then send it towards the target. As in all the family of the stomping kicks, the heel is the hitting point. In the stomping kick backwards, the foot can be pointing more downwards or more sideways. Training with a partner, hitting pads, starting with a stomping kick backwards. The kick is the opening to the series of attacks while turning towards the target.
In any discipline, especially something like Krav Maga, one has to have and develop faith, trust, and belief. Faith means in the system, in the knowledge that you are gaining, to understand that this is deep, profound, effective, something that will bring you to where you want to go. Faith in what you're learning. Trust in the instructor, that the instructor will give you the knowledge and will take you where you want to go. And you definitely have to develop the belief in yourself. Krav Maga is a very simple system. It's efficient, it's easy to learn, it's very effective. However, in order to develop high level of abilities, you definitely have to invest time in training. The more you invest, the better you'll be. It's natural to understand. It's in most things, it's like this. In order to develop, you have to invest. The knowledge comes from the teacher. The knowledge comes from people. People taught you almost everything you know, whether it was your parents, grandparents, people close to you, they taught you. Especially when you were a kid, when you were a baby. Later, when you went to school, you learned from school teachers. Training, physical things, you learn from other people naturally. So we understand that the knowledge comes from others. You read a book, somebody wrote the book. You are looking at the video or you listen to a tape, somebody made it, like this one. So knowledge comes from others. What about the experience? You have also to gain the experience, and the experience comes with training. It comes from experiencing. So who is responsible for that? Naturally you and your partner. So when you are training something especially like Krav Maga, you have to acquire the experience. And this is responsibility of yourself, of your partner. The partner has to do the correct problem in order for you to learn. So if your partner, if you are as a partner, creating the correct problem, the correct environment for the training, for the acquiring the experience will be acquired. If the problem is not realistic, then you are acquiring nothing in concern with the reality. You will not gain what we want you to gain. In training, however, we must be safe. Im used to say, first rule in Krav Maga, don't get hurt.
Naturally, Kmg is preparing you with the best solutions not to get hurt outside, meaning outside the training place, meaning in a real world of confrontations and violence, but also in training. Don't get hurt in training. So safety in training is at the utmost importance. So control. Control yourself, that's first of all. Control the situation, control the partner, that's what we are trying to understand and to gain. The training place, even if it is packed with objects, has to be compatible to the training. And the training should be directed correctly in any training place. And we do train anywhere, everywhere possible for us. The equipment that you have, the clothing that you have, has to be correct and adequate for the training. Professional equipment and good clothing, whatever you choose to deal with, to use, has to be perfect for the training. The level of the training itself, how much impact you will have, the speed, the level of danger, the techniques that you are dealing with, you need to be ready to deal with them. So safety training, at most importance, do invest time in thinking and prepare yourself for the training, from the warm-up to the smallest object that you are using. It is very important that you will practice the different attacks in series, fluent actions. You can do it by yourself, you can do it with a partner, on pads, you can work on a heavy bag. You should do all these things. You should attack at different ranges, distances, angles, variations. Practice all you have learned in short series of attacks. .360 outside defenses, one should respond with aggression and determination, blocking the circular attack, simultaneously with delivering counterattack, and continuing fluently with multiple counterattacks as needed. Finish by moving away, scanning the area, and going to the next mission. The tool to defend with is the forearm with the palm from the joint of the pinky until the elbow. The technique is a choppy movement done very much away from the body. Send your hand immediately to meet and block the attack. In the area of the wrist of the opponent, defend and shift your weight in the direction of the defense to enable a strong block. When you are blocking an attack that is coming from below or diagonally from below, you should bend at the waist and keep your knees straight. Like this, you should have maximum distance from the attack to your body. Block in the necessary angle, upwards, sideways, diagonally up or down. Do practice defending with one hand or two different directions to the circle around you. Defend and attack simultaneously. At the same time as you block the attack, you also deliver a counterattack. Initially, the counterattack should be touching lightly the chest of your partner. This is to regulate you to deliver simultaneous attack with the block. Later, we mark the vulnerable area, such as the face, the jaw, or the neck of the opponent. We then continue with more aggressive actions and even multiple counterattacks. The attack of the partner is triggering you to deliver the counterattacks with the defense. So look at it as a series of actions. With the first counterattack, you also do a defense, a block. The attacker stabs with a sharp, small object like a knife. It can come from different directions and different angles. The distance is relatively close. The attacker steps a small step and stabs. You should respond as before, with aggression, determination, series of action in which the counterattacks and the defense are combined together simultaneously. Inside defenses against straight punches. The defensive action with the heel of the hand moving diagonally forward. The body defense, the head movement, getting out of the line, out of the channel of the attack. Inside defense with an immediate counterattack, while lowering the attacking hand and deliver a counterattack at the same time. Initial defense, in 1.5 count, you deliver the counterattack and continue with multiple counterattacks, then moving away, scanning the area, and going for the next mission, the next thing to do. Leg defense against a kick to the groin. From a passive stance, preferably with one leg forward, raise your knee diagonally forward. The front of the shin will meet and deflect the attacking leg. Start with the leg and raise your hands to a ready position. Defending, you move diagonally forward, counterattack with the hands as soon as possible. In a non-symmetrical stance, only the forward leg is making this technique. Whether the attacker is kicking with his back or front leg, left or right, it does not matter. You defend and counterattack the same way. Try to avoid the confrontation. Attempt to de-escalate it verbally. Attack the attacker the moment you see he has the intention, ability, and the tool to attack you. At a medium distance, you can prevent the attacker from grabbing you, deflect or block his hands, and counterattack as soon as you can. Reflexive defense at last moment, two hands made a defense, leaning backwards and counterattacking with the knee. Educational stop. Block the advancement of the attacker at a medium distance. Stop him at the chest with the heel of the hand, push your fingers to the hollow between the collarbones. The pressure will create irritation and stop the person away from you. This is a soft technique. Your intention is to talk afterwards, to tell the opponent, move away from me, or let me go. Like this, you are trying to finish the incident without really fighting. On this, I'm used to say, the attacker is happy that I want to go away. Release from a choke from the front. Two hands plucking motion with simultaneous counterattacks. The palms as two hooks, as close as possible to your neck, hitting from the center to the outside. At the same time, stomp in place, deliver a knee to the groin, your body leans backwards, your chin is lowered, your face are lowered. Continue with additional counterattacks, finish with moving away, scanning the area, and going to the next mission you need to do. One hand plucking release with simultaneous counterattacking. As one hand is defending, making the release, like in the 360, you are delivering straight counterattack forward. Continue with additional counterattacks, such as a knee to the groin, more punches, and finish by moving away from the danger zone, scanning the area, and going to the next mission. There are three ways of getting up. Here, it's getting up while attacking. Reach to your side while performing attacks. Push with the palm, be on your palm, knee, and ball of the foot of the base leg. While kicking, this is a stomping kick. The head, the hip, the heel, and the target should be on one line. Get up fast and distance yourself from the danger zone. From a relatively upright sitting position, turn sending the hand to its opposite side, the legs like in the figure 4, turn, raise your butt and flee the scene. One can use one hand or two hands to support the start of the running. Get up in place with a bit of retreat. Can be done with one or two hands. You support yourself with the hand and with the opposite foot. Raise and turn your body. Take the low leg out and retreat a bit. Stand upright into the outlet stance. Be sure you scan the area. Be sure you are aware of your surrounding. If you fall, you need to protect yourself. This can be done with a break fall or with a roll. Execute the break fall from your knees when you are in a squat or low position and when you are in a straight stance. Remember to send your hands under the shoulders. As you move towards the ground, turn your head to the side and lift it. The same exact break fall can be done if you fall towards a wall. Before hitting the wall, use a break fall. This can be done as a preparation to the soft break fall to the ground. If an opponent causes you to fall down, you may need to deal with him. Turning rapidly and using attacks and then continuing to get up in one of the three ways is most advisable. Turning should be rolling to the side while entering with the opposite leg, with the opposite knee between yourself and the ground. Falling with speed and momentum, you will need a roll. 90 degrees between your palms, placing the front hand with the fingers sideways in front of your front leg. Hide your head under the armpit. Roll from the hand to the shoulder to the opposite hip. Figure 4 of the legs. The ball of the foot of the high leg should be aligned with the knee of the low leg. The low leg should be on the knee and ball of the foot. The high leg, that will be the back leg, should be on the ball of the foot. Release from a choke from the side on the ground. Try to do the technique before hitting the ground. Plucking action with one hand, while the other hand is strongly pushing to the hollow between the collarbones. Sometimes it is possible to strike with this hand. As soon as possible, raise two knees. The closer one pushes the opponent across the chest. Opponent at a distance, kick the vulnerable points. Then get up and continue as needed. More attacks or move away from danger zone. Common objects for self-defense are divided to different families. Here, the shield type. Lift and send the object, this time the bag, to meet the attack, either to block or deflect it. Counterattack as soon as possible. Here the example is with the kick below the defense. Using the chair for defense purposes and attacking purposes, if you start from a sitting position, get up in the most economical way. You should hold the chair, one hand on the seat, the other hand on the back of it. Move behind the chair, lift it, and use it. Looking at attacks. In order to have good abilities to recognize the problems, it is good to practice looking at attacks, whether they are single ones repeatedly or series of attacks. After a short time of practicing only looking at the attacks, start visualizing yourself making defenses and the correct decisions. case that you were not completely successful and you did not finish the situation, the attacker returned with more attacks. That's an option. It can happen. Deal with the new problem.
טוב, עכשיו, לא חיבור טוב, עזוב אותי, תודה, ביי, עכשיו.
Reaction games, here catching a falling stick at different levels of difficulties. Another snatching game, here the two trainees have different roles. One is trying to snatch the object without telegraphing, the other one is trying to respond by closing the fist with the option of removing the hand. Higher level of difficulty is to switch the object. The family of the touching games. Here we try to touch the partner's head while protecting our own head. Same goes for the knees. Moving around trying to touch partner's feet with our own feet. Try to touch the instep of the partner's foot. Do not stomp. Do not hurt your partner. Remember, safety in training. Outside defenses against straight punches while the attacker is coming from the side. Simultaneously, you defend with a closer hand, moving outward, and counter-attacking with the backhand. Continue with more counterattacks and finish the situation. The forearm of the defending hand can be positioned in three major positions. Here we have shadow sparring. Different attacks with different directions, act with combinations. It's extremely efficient to train with defending and counter-attacking, sort of dry drilling. Do the techniques to different directions. Four against one game. Attackers are attacking with a push, with a grab. We start with 1 against 1 and we add 2, 3 and 4 opponents. Each attacker should attack one attack every 2 seconds. In the beginning you can make inside and outside defenses only. Later when you're better you can do with counterattacks and even preemptive attacks. Remember to circle and not to move between the opponents. Not to go to the center. One should defend and move sideways. Like this, one attacker is disturbing the other one from reaching you. Do not let anyone reach you from behind. You are vulnerable at this point. In self-defense, especially when you were attacked by surprise, the attacker decided to attack. He had the initiative, and you were only
of the actions of the person. So you have to respond. In that case, in most situations, you will be in disadvantage. So Krav Maga, especially the basic self-defense technique, we are acting from a situation of disadvantage. Attacker decided, you are not aware of the decision, you are aware of the actions. In this level of P1, we are dealing with attacker who comes from the front. We need to be good. First of all, this is the basics. Naturally, we learned how to attack to different directions, how to counterattack to different directions. But first of all, dealing with the attacker who comes from the front. In next levels, we will deal also with attackers who come from the sides and from behind. We need to understand that in reality, we may start our actions from different situations and positions. First of all, first situation, you may start from a passive position, meaning you're doing nothing in specific. Probably you're thinking about something, but you're not doing anything. So starting from passive. The second thing, if you are doing some daily thing, you're reading, you're writing, you're walking and thinking about something, you're talking to another person, you're window shopping. So you are busy in something, your brain is busy in something, your mind is busy. And you have to free yourself from that busyness, from this action, and divert all your resources and your attention to the new problem that you have to solve. The last situation that you may be in is you are already doing some fighting. You're already doing some Krav Maga against certain opponent, and then you have to do something else, another type of Krav Maga, another type of technique, against another person or against the same person. So practically 3 options, one from passive, one from daily uses, daily moves, daily actions, and the last thing from Krav Maga to Krav Maga. From fighting something, from doing self-defense against somebody, to another type of self-defense or another type of fighting. In P1, in this level, you start your journey in Krav Maga. Krav Maga is a simple system. You acquire knowledge and information and abilities very fast. However, the more you'll stay on the road, you'll get further. Train. Invest time in training.